Why the rich never work for money, and what they do instead. The lie that keeps you poor. The most dangerous idea you've ever been told sounds so harmless, it's practically a lullaby. Go to school, get a job, work hard, save money. That phrase? It's the most well-packaged trap in modern society. And yet, millions live by it. But here's a truth no one teaches. That path doesn't lead to wealth. It leads to quiet desperation. Because while you were busy chasing job security, the rules of the game changed. Money's being printed. Inflation is rising. Taxes are climbing. And the rich? They're playing a completely different game you were never taught. The silent programming. From the moment we're old enough to hold a pencil, we're trained to obey. Sit still, memorize, don't question. School teaches you how to become a good employee, not how to create wealth. It drills into you that security is the goal, that a steady paycheck is success. But that security is the chain. Because once you rely on a paycheck, you stop thinking like an owner. You trade your time for money and never ask why the wealthy never seem to follow that rule. The three people living inside you. Here's a strange truth. Inside every one of us, there are three identities battling for control. There's the poor person, fearful, uncertain, always waiting. The middle-class person, focused on safety, the next raise, the next house. And the rich person, the one who thinks in assets, systems, and scale. Most people never listen to that last voice, but those who do, they unlock a reality that looks nothing like the one most people live in. The final paycheck. Robert Kiyosaki still remembers his last paycheck. It wasn't even a paycheck. It was a bonus check from Xerox, 30 grand. And he felt two things, excitement and dread, because he knew what it meant. It meant he was done being an employee. A colleague looked him dead in the eye and said, "You'll be back. You're going to fail." Robert didn't flinch. He replied, "You failed and came back, but I'll fail and never return." That right there, that's the split-second moment when an employee becomes an entrepreneur. When failure becomes freedom. The average person sees failure as the end, but the entrepreneur, they see it as the initiation. No paycheck, no fallback plan, just hunger, grit, and creativity. You either build or you break. And it's in that moment, when you're stripped of comfort, that you find out who you really are. Do you cheat? Do you panic? Or do you level up? Because real wealth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from chaos mastered. The debt they never taught you about. You've been taught to fear debt, avoid it, run from it, kill it like it's poison. But here's what they don't tell you. The rich love debt because they understand something you never learned in school. Debt is a weapon. Robert refinanced $300 million in debt and cut his interest rate nearly in half. That move alone made him a fortune without lifting a finger. Meanwhile, most people are told to save money while the government prints trillions. Inflation eats their savings alive, and they never realize they've been lied to. The legal cheat code, taxes. Let's talk about the second weapon the rich use, taxes. A doctor makes $1 million and pays $750,000 in taxes. Robert makes $1 million and pays zero. Why? Because he doesn't earn through a paycheck. He earns through businesses and real estate, both of which are filled with legal loopholes. When he earns $1 million, he immediately invests it into property. The bank matches that with $4 million. That's a 4-to-1 leverage on tax-free income. This isn't a gray area. It's the system working as designed. The rich don't avoid taxes by hiding. They do it by understanding the rules you were never taught. The obsolete life plan. You want to know why most people never escape the rat race? Because they're clinging to an obsolete life plan, a blueprint designed for a world that no longer exists. Get good grades, get a job, buy a house, work for 40 years, retire at 65. That might have worked in 1950. But in 1971, Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard. That's the moment money stopped being money and started being debt. Ever since then, saving money is like trying to win a race with your shoelaces tied. The education myth. Now let's talk about school. What if we just got rid of it? Not the idea of learning, but the outdated factory system we still call education. Information now doubles every 18 months. By the time you graduate, what you learned is already outdated. Harvard won't save you, because the banks, the markets, and the rich don't care where you went. They care what you understand. And if you don't understand taxes, leverage, or debt, you'll keep working harder and watching your paycheck shrink. The internal economy versus the external reality. You have two economies. One lives out there, in the news, in the job market, in interest rates. The other lives inside your head. And here's the shocking truth. The internal economy always wins. Because if your mindset is built on fear, doubt, and dependence, then even in a good economy, you'll lose. But if your internal economy is strong, focused, and resourceful, then even in a crash, you'll thrive. The difference isn't what's happening around you. It's what's happening within you. The final shift. Employee to entrepreneur. Here's what nobody says out loud. Most people calling themselves entrepreneurs are just self-employed. They're still trading time for money, still paying the highest taxes, still trapped in the same system, just with more stress. True entrepreneurs build systems that don't need them. They use leverage, understand taxes, and focus on cash flow, not income. And when things collapse, they don't reach for Prozac. They rebuild, smarter, faster, stronger. Because they know every breakdown is a setup for breakthrough. The rule you were never taught. So here's the brutal truth. The rich never work for money because money is a terrible master and an incredible servant. They never chase paychecks. They build systems. They master taxes. They control debt. And most importantly, they control their internal economy. If your plan is to work hard, save money, and hope for the best, just know that system wasn't built for you to win. But if you can flip the script, master the mindset, learn the rules, and start thinking like an owner, you won't just survive the next crash. You'll get rich in the middle of it. Because in every crisis, the rules don't disappear. They just get clearer. And once you learn them, you never see the world the same way again.